Okay. Oh, just that last minute dress rehearsal stuff. Has to be come through. You gotta. It's a live show. So how we do it though. So, good morning. Emos the Witness, and we're back. How y'all doing, America? It's Monday, February, April. Are we in April already? April 19th, you guys. Getting to that spring. It's Emos the Witness. And we're here live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's the Phil Show, as you know. Standing for what the fuck I look like. Bring you a hot new political perspective, diving into politics, news, current events. We're trying to hold these politicians accountable, get them all in line, in check, make sure that we know and we're informed what's going on in future elections. But we are informed to make better decisions in life. As you guys know, that we've been witnessing our freedoms being trampled upon, and we need new voices in news. So here I am bringing you a new angle, a new perspective. I'm Emos the Witness, coming to you live. Like I said, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, my man Malik. My man, we in the house trying to do this 120 East Market Street. So let's get into the news. We're downtown every live. Like I said, you can like me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. So let's get down and get it going. Let's get into the news, bring that background music going. A lot to talk about, you guys. Got a lot of foreign policy issues. We got a lot of posturing from the Biden administration. We're going to dig into all of that. We're going to dig into, man, I'm really worried about, the Republicans. I think that, they may be facing a losing battle. I'm seeing a lot going on in regards to, maneuvering from Democrats to attempted bills being passed. And just thinking about just last week, they tried to bring a proposal to increase the amount of Supreme Court justices on the bench. They're going to keep trying to do those things. They're going to keep poking the bear and keep trying to prod and where they can kind of erode our freedoms and take and continue to consume power. And we're witnessing it on a daily basis, you guys. And I'm just, the Democrats are just really good at playing the PR game. They're really good at they're better than Republicans at playing the politics game. No matter what is going on, no matter what issue or topic, no matter how bad they look, they know how to spin it. They have a big advantage. They have a lot of people in their corner, a lot of entities, pushing for them, and we witnessed that. And you look at everything that's going on in the news today, and you really analyze it all, and you look at the upcoming elections, and you look at the narrative and who's winning the battle of wits. And currently, the Democrats, are really checkmating, and there's really nothing you can really do about it. But speak your voice, stay informed, and get ready for those elections coming up if you want to see a change. And make sure you can do it on a local level, state and national. Be informed. So we aim to do that here at the show. Like I said, it's a brand new show. It's live, so we're not always gonna be on point. But as we grow, I want you guys to be witnesses with me. I want you guys to join me as we become more informed about the deeper issues of this country. So again, I aim to be your guide. I aim to be someone who kind of navigates you through this. I'm not trying to give you my opinion and really spew my side of the spectrum politically, but really just talk about what's going on out here and try to get some perspective on it. But you also keep it lighthearted. We want to get to all kind of general news. For example, came across this article this morning. Man kidnapped, nailed inside a coffin, and cremated in China. Kind of interesting here. Bizarre murder plot. So, a man kidnapped, nailed inside coffin, and cremated in a bizarre murder plot. This is interesting. A mentally disabled victim was kidnapped, force-fed alcohol, and killed before being sealed inside a coffin so a wealthy Chinese family could cremate his corpse instead of a dead relative. So, the Huang family in Sunway in China, southern Guangdong province, paid 107 Chinese yuan, or 16 G's in U.S. dollars. We say G's where I'm from. For the substitute corpse in order to fulfill a relative's dying wish of having a traditional burial in a city where cremations have been mandatory since 2012 for the sake of saving land. So, pretty much your perpetual, rich family, rich group of people just, find a homeless person on the ground, a homeless person painting on the corner, or juggling some apples, just kidnaps them, gets them drunk, and cremates them because they don't want to cremate their brother, Stanley, because Stanley deserves a traditional burial, with the whole coffin and the whole family roses and the, the land, the burial. Isn't that crazy? How you gonna kidnap somebody and cremate them because you don't like the style of the city's funeral services? We always make a way, don't we? You know how it is. You want to go to a water park, but you can't go because it fills the capacity. So what do you do? What do you do, Malik? I climb the fence. Right? You want to go to a water park and it's like hot as hell, and it's like, hey, you only 200 people allowed in the pool. So you see, you walk your kids back to the car. While you walking back to the car, you're looking for that hole in the fence, or you're looking for that opening where you can climb and then pull your kids up. So what do you do? What do you do? What would you do in this situation if your brother died and he's like, hey man, look, man, don't cremate me, man. No matter what they say, don't cremate. I want a real burial. What would you do?
If he wanted to,
he's like, and he's coughing. He's like, and you owe me, motherfucker. By the way, as he's dying, and he's angry. Don't you fuck this up?
And we're in China, so he can't be buried.
This city in China, they only do cremations, and they're telling you that shit. And he's like coughing, motherfucker. You better do right by me, and he dies.
I mean, let's be honest. Is he really gonna know which I did at the end?
Obviously the family of this real guy that really happened obviously doesn't give a fuck either because, think about that. You kill somebody, don't have a proper burial. Don't you think you're gonna go to hell for that? You see what I'm saying? So they don't think that no one's looking down on this, obviously. So you don't think your brother's looking down on you if you actually don't do the burial?
What's he gonna do? Haunt me?
Maybe. See, we gotta start believing in a lot of. If we want to believe in some shit politically, we need to believe in all. At least give some things some credence. At least looking into. So maybe there are some ghosts that'll fuck you up if you don't do their wishes. I wonder that too. Like if my grandma gave me some gold coins that were rare. And I'm like, she's like, don't spend these, motherfucker, as she's dying. And I go buy like a coupe. I trade them in. I go buy me a car with them. Would she fuck me up later on? Don't you fear that? Don't you feel like you may see your brother in heaven later on? Like, man, didn't I tell you on the burial? And my grandma didn't I tell you not to spend those coins?
I mean, I wouldn't spend the coins or none of that just out of not respect, but kind of like a sentimental value.
Yeah.
But if I was down bad and I had to, fuck it. But if you're buying a coupe, then that's just my choice.
That's just messed up. That's just.
But
that's
if
wrong.
you had no money and then you had to sell those to get your daughter food or something, then I feel like then she'd be like, I would have wanted you to do that, so it makes sense.
Okay, so how hard would you fight for that cremation or for that burial for your brother?
Not that hard.
In China, not that hard, because it's the law though. You wouldn't kill somebody and cremate them, put them in a coffin, and then replace them with your brother, and then have a real private funeral with your family.
I'm confused on why they had to kill the first guy first.
I guess China needed a body. Let's see, they needed a body to because in order to use their real brother, or let me see, in order to use their real brother's body, they need to pretty much show a body. You see what I'm saying? So they can forget about them. So give the authorities a body.
So where'd they bury his ass at then?
They cremate this guy and they put him in. They put his urns in the cemetery to get the groundskeeper to clean them up. And they have every cemetery has a pretty much like an area with no names. John Doe's.
No, I'm saying, where did they bury the actual brother at then?
They had a private funeral somewhere. Let's see it. It says that.
Is he in somebody's backyard?
I don't know if you scroll down. But here's the picture of the guy they cremated that they kidnapped and got drunk. If you scroll down. So imagine that. You see this guy. You imagine that. So you imagine the vetting process or the choosing process, right? They probably was like, this motherfucker's perfect. No one's gonna know this guy's missing. Let's get him drunk. Let's put him in a coffin. Let's cremate him, and we can go to the hills of Soon Chai, whatever, and have a private burial for Stanley. I don't know why I'm calling this guy Stanley, but I'm gonna give you the details so you guys know what's going on. Really, this is really crazy, man. It's a really bizarre case, man. Really, because it happened like 2 years ago, I believe. So, this is messed up, man. This guy was just, like I said, this guy was your normal Joe, you know. So a judgment by the Shenway Intermediate People's Court said Huang came across the lone victim, Lin, who's 36 years old. He's a young guy too, man. This is back in 2017. He was born with a mental disability, and he was collecting recyclable bottles by the roadside in order to sell for change to buy cigarettes. So Huang tricked the victim into his white van and purchased 6 bottles of banded Juby juice, pretty much. That is a potent distilled grain alcohol, which Lin was forced to drink until he became unconscious. He was driven to a predetermined area, placed inside a coffin, and killed and sealed with 4 nails, is what the document read. So they contacted and informed that the coffin was ready to be switched with that of a wealthy family member's dead relative. Lin's body was sent to the local crematorium on March 3rd, 2017, while his family's relative was given a traditional burial in a secret location. So that's what China is crazy. I'm telling you, we gotta be careful of the trends and where this world is going. I mean, like I said, do you really want China to run this world, or run this country, and have its influence? I mean, like I said, I'm not being biased towards Chinese people. I'm talking about the leadership and these laws and these rules. This is an example right here. You know, you think about the one-child policy, and then you turn around and you look at something like this. You look at this. You look at where people are trying to have to make decisions like this. Like, man, damn, listen to the damn table with their family, and like, look what we want to do. Stanley wants a burial. He wants a proper one. He wants, you know what I'm saying? He wants pallbearers. 3 on each side. And they love Stanley. Stanley was the provider of their family. Okay? For lack of using other words, I'm calling the man Stanley. Okay? He wants a burial. So what the family is sitting there like, okay, are we gonna really kidnap somebody? Are we gonna kill him? And we're gonna cremate him and exchange him for Stanley, and we take Stanley to the hills and we have a private burial. Do we want to see that in this country? And I'm not talking about the people of China. I'm talking about the rules and traditions. You know, the influence in government and Congress. It may not happen now, but maybe 30 years down the line, you can look up and say, hey, a news report. We're thinking about a study being found out. We're going to stop burials. We're going to stop we just do cremations only. Only cremations. You're going to see people come out of national parks, Eagle Creek, come out of creeks and ponds, little nature trails, Monon Center, dressed in the nines. Where y'all coming from? Motherfucker just had a private burial inside of a motherfucking national park. That's what it'll come down to, y'all. Motherfuckers getting fined and shit, people getting lost, missing. Craziness, you guys. So you think about that, it all kind of trickles down. And that's how it can possibly trickle down. You know, I mean, that's just me speculating, but hey, 30 years, you may see that kind of law being passed here. And then you gotta make this decision to make, right? You know, gotta do something about that. So I wanted to start off with that because I thought that was just crazy. People have to make decisions, but damn, according to the Guangdong Highest People's Court, you know, and according to the Shenway Intermediate People's Court, every time I see People's Court, I go dun 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 dun. I think about that damn TV show. Dun dun dun. So that's what's going on in China, man. I bet that little sound chimes when a motherfucker gets broken that news. Yeah, you can't have a burial, motherfucker. Cremation only. Dun 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 dun. Motherfuckers got decisions to make. Go home and figure it out. But $16,000. So you guys know the price. Before I move on, the price. $16,300 to pretty much kill someone, cremate them, and replace them with your relative, so you can have a real proper burial. So remember that in China. So $16,000 US dollars in China, probably about 36, maybe about 100,000 for US if you're in the United States trying to pull that off. Hit the chat, like, subscribe. You must have witnessed. If you're gonna do that, let me know. Have you done it? Have you killed somebody, cremated them, and switched them out? Like that, hit the like page and let us know. We can talk about it. How much did it cost? What was the price? 16,000 in China. Anyway, let's move on. Like Monday, like I said, we're gonna get into the news. And like I said, you guys, I'm gonna keep on repeating this. This is a news show. I've never done this shit before. Okay, we're downtown at 120 East. Y'all heard that horrible ass intro just a moment ago. We're downtown at 120 East Market Street live. Okay, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. But let me start over again. 10, 10, 10, 10, 11, 10, 12, 10, 22 to 11 a.m. We start off at all kinds of different times here, but 10 a.m. is the goal. One day we'll get that goal. But on Monday, like I said, we want to bring in the news. On Wednesday, we want to bring some investigative news, some corrupt politician news, kind of highlight them as leaders. And then we have a Freestyle Friday, where we kind of get into a little bit of everything. So like I said, just give me some patience, some time. We're growing as a page, as a channel. On YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. The website coming soon. But most of the witness is the Phil Show. Like I said, I started this show to push back and provide a new voice and a new political angle, perspective, and try to kind of bring a new analysis, but awareness about things that are going on in this country, in this world, that you may not hear or see or get reported on a day-to-day basis. Some things are reported, but it's not continuing. There's not continuance of that topic. And you need a follow-up. Oftentimes you get shit spewed to you, and then you get thrown the correction a month later. And it doesn't even matter because the damage has been done. For example, the Russian bounty case. Remember last year, right before, maybe during the political season, probably the last year, 2020, early part of 2020, there was a claim that Russia was putting bounty on U.S. soldiers' heads in Syria and Afghanistan and various parts of the country, of the world. And, the media ran with it. Various politicians, Democrat congressmen ran with it. And, it made Trump look bad. It made the country look bad in a way because they posed as if Trump wasn't doing anything about it. There was a lot of speculative reports. There was a lot of people in the intelligence community that were denying it, that were thinking it wasn't even true to begin with. The source was very weak. And what they were trying to do, what's so dangerous about it is that what they were trying to do was they were trying to get the Trump administration to take the bait and confront Russia about this claim that was not even really verified or that was being deemed at the time as false and not a lot of credence made to it. You can just look at the press secretary and a lot of reports during that time, and look what we have now. We have last week, like I reported last week, that whole thing was maybe false. The intelligence community said, hey, that was not accurate. There weren't no bounties placed on U.S. troops. But that's a very dangerous game. Like I said, is this all a game? If you can take it to that point, to that extreme, and then have a recant years later or a year later, but the issue at the time could have potentially caused a war. What if we did confront our false news like weapons of mass destruction? What if we go off our emotions and our feelings? That's the game that the Democrats play, and they play it so well. That's why I started the show and I opened the show here. Emos the Witness, the Phil Show. Fuck, I look like. That's why I opened the show up saying, man, I think the Republicans are doomed. The way the Democrats play this game, this political game, they play it very well. They play it very, very well. And they play it from an angle, like I said, no matter what the congressional approval rating is, which is currently 21%, think that Congress is doing a good job. Do nothing, Democrats. Democrats have not done anything since they've been in office the last, since January. They gave us a stimulus check. What else? They posture, they fabricate, they sustain hysteria. You see what I'm saying? They take their competitors' hyperboles and they twist it against them. They do a great job of doing that. But like I said, they have a lot of people in their corner. They have all of Hollywood. They have late night talk shows. They have the mainstream media, various news outlets. They have U.S. intelligence operatives. They have the whole country of Canada behind their back. behind them. Democrat power machine is entrenched in all sectors of society and internationally. Every late night talk show, John Oliver, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Trevor Noah, all those guys, James Corden, they all speak on behalf and they give lighthearted news about the Biden administration. They're so pro Democrat that it just how can you sit there and watch that show and even laugh? They're not even funny, entertaining to begin with. So you create your own show, you create your new show, you create your own voice, and I encourage you to do the same thing, America. Go out there, speak your opinion. Don't fall into the groupthink. You know, look at all this stuff from a big angle and say, okay, is this nothing but pure pressure and groupthink that I'm listening to? All these years that I've listened to MSNBC and CNN, or you may have read, look, I mean, I'll give you these names because Daily Beast, BuzzFeed, The New Yorker, Atlantic, New York Times, all these publications, if you look at it over the past 4 or 5 years, their opinion pieces and their headlines alone will let you know what side they're on. And when you have these powerful entities in your face day to day, they're going to skew your opinion. They're going to change your opinion. You're going to just naturally just zombie-like favorite Democrats. Okay? And when you have recants of false narratives months or years later that are on the back page of the newspaper that you barely see, or the last page of the site, you're not going to see that. Definitely if you're not a person who's not politically involved or even bother entertained by these topics. You're just going by your day-to-day eating food and taking care of your kids and all that stuff. You don't have time. You don't have time to dig into the details, into what's deep about it. So when you see a recant or a publication that's being taken back because it's false, are you going to catch that, or are you going to hang on to the original narrative? And that's what Democrats are good at doing. They're good at posturing. They're good at telling you one thing, holding on to that, and keeping it as fact, and it's not even true. And then when they apologize, when they recant, it's so subtle. But they still remain the original truth is so effective. And that's what happened with the Trump administration. They finally got him. Finally got him in January with the banning of Twitter, banning of YouTube, all the censorship of a president of the United States. Isn't that crazy? And they're able to do it because the Capitol riots was a straw that brought the camel's back. That's the mistake that the Trump administration made, was the handling of the Capitol riots and the whole narrative of that. Even though he didn't spark a riot, even though he said peaceful protests, it was enough to frame a narrative and push it and run with it. And they're still running with it today. I mean, I can't wake up and not see a Capitol riot article or headline of how much of a debacle, how much pain and suffering it caused police officers, how much again, how can you protest now? When you go down the halls, you go down to Washington, try to protest, the media can slant and bend angles so that, hey, you're a TER, you know? You're ist. You're not a patriot, you know, anymore. Depending on what the line is, what you're pushing, you know. So we're Emos the Witness, like I said, the Phil Show, the fuck I look like. We're able to dig into all this stuff, see what's true. Which teacher, which politician, which Hollywood mogul, which scientist, which big industry leader wants to push us a certain way? Bill Gates, you know, for example. What's he talking about? You trying to sell me a computer, man? You trying to give me a vaccine? It's all posturing. It's all a game. It's all about power. And you dig into these people's agenda, you dig deeper, you see what they're really all about. And majority of them are not about you. They're about to line up their pockets and consuming power. So, like I said, and the issue that I have is that they play these political games, and there's so much danger, so much risk, so much consequence that can happen as a result of them playing these games. Where a simple recant is just not enough. And so I want to get to a little bit of the news of the day. I'm kind of all over the place a little bit, but I wanted to eventually get to Russia, talk about what's going on with the Ukraine and the posturing that we're doing there. Let's get into that real quick. Matter of fact, first First, let's get into what I was talking about, was kind of confirming this article here from the Congressional Performance. Majority of voters rate congressional performance as poor. This is the Rasmussen report. This is the poll, kind of shows what Congress is currently up to and how we rate, how do people feel about Congress. Most recent poll, okay? Tuesday, April 13th. Barely 1 in 5 voters approve of the job Congress is doing, and most rate congressional job performance as poor. A new Rasmussen report, national telephone and online survey finds that only 21% of likely voters rate the way Congress is doing its job as good or excellent. 54% say it's doing a poor job. Those numbers haven't changed much since last summer, before the election that saw Democrats lose 12 seats in the House of Reps. Historically, positive ratings for Congress have only reached 25% once, and that was back in February 2017, in a regular survey by Rasmussen report since 2007. Now, report finding routinely ran in the 60s and 70s from 2011 to 2014. Now, 31% now believe their representative in Congress is the best possible person for the job. 43% disagree, and 26% are not sure. Now, I don't really understand polls. Like, polls, it's just one of those. It's just like it's one of those weird measuring sticks. You know, when it comes to polls, it's like, do you believe them or you don't? Now, you could have believed the polls in 2016, and you would have been way off, because, like I said, those polls all had Hillary Clinton winning the election prior to the November 4th of that year, and they were way off. The polls this year, 2020 election, now, to me, they weren't off. They were fabricated, in my opinion. They were framed and designed and set up in a way in which, you know, Biden won the election. Like I said, you can't wake up on November 5th and see a total switch in the vote numbers. Okay, so watching the poll numbers leading up to the election of 2020, you seen that Biden was in the lead, and then you saw like this pretty much a becoming landslide on the 4th for Trump. And then you seen a total switch the next morning. But all leading up prior to that, you seen a Biden with a slight lead. And then you also saw a lot of people pushing back, saying that these polls were incorrect, that their numbers were looking different. So it's all about who's giving the information, who's giving the news. So polls, you really can't take too deep, because, I mean, look at this. They only surveyed 1,000 people. I mean, how can you get a good tally of the country's temperature by only calling up 1,000 people? So polls, you take them as a grain of salt for what you want to, however you want to take them. But Rasmussen's been around, like I said, been around for a good amount of time. If people use them for it as a source, but we all know historically, you feel it, that Congress and our leaders aren't doing a good job, and we gotta hold them accountable. We got to talk about these issues. We got to get some names out there, and when they come to campaign into your city or your town, and you remember that name, you remember their policy and their views and their quotes. Remember, you got it from emotes. And remember that you walked to that booth informed in 2022 and 2024. Make better decisions on your leadership. We're going to have a better society for it. We won't have any more pranking, any more double talking, any more two-tier justice systems. We can create all those things. None of this political posturing that can lead us to dangerous wars. But yeah, leadership that's integral all the time. Not always looking for a political bent or a political angle, political advantage. So you see, as we know, nothing's changing, nothing's new under the sun. Congress is still doing a piss poor job. Now, I want to talk about the trends of war, the drum beats of war potentially coming in Europe. I'm just looking at the trends, and you're just seeing like a lot of posturing, and you're seeing a lot of people just kind of picking sides and kind of getting themselves together. Like, I mean, Russia has 100,000 troops on the border right now in Ukraine. They just shut down one of the important straits that lead to Ukraine. I mean, they're allowing domestic transit through as far as I'm sorry, not domestic transit, but commercial transit, but not military transit of any other country in that strait area. They're pretty much checkmated the whole world, most importantly the United States, when it comes to Ukraine. And this goes back to the Obama administration. Now, you didn't hear shit out of Russia during the Trump administration at all. We had a lot of claims that that they interfered in our elections, and Trump is a Russian spy. Well, a bunch of bullshit that was later disclaimed, that was later disproven. A bunch of noise, a bunch of distractions, as usual. But that kind of nonsense is what led us to this point right now. You remember during the Obama administration, they were soft on Ukraine. They were soft on Russia. What they do? They sent ready-made meals, lighthearted threats to Russia. And Russia didn't care. They continued to invade, or not invade, but I guess invade. They confiscated Crimea, 2 pieces of land in Ukraine. And then you got the Trump administration. When they came into power, when they consumed their office, they gave out Javelin missiles, hard military equipment, hardware to the Ukraine people, to the Ukraine government, to protect against the Russian threat. And real equipment, a real deterrent, along with real peace through strength rhetoric, and it worked. But as soon as Biden gets in office, Russia remembers the weakness. Russia remembers that they're just posturing, that they're not really about that life. They're not. But I tell you one thing. They don't care about you. They don't care about your viewpoints. They care about you being a peace or a dove, that you don't like wars, that you wouldn't bring your troops home. They're willing to go to war with Russia if they want to. They're willing to. For the sake of power. But we know through our war games that we wouldn't win that battle. That's why Biden sent 2 warships and then turned them around and said we need to de-escalate and we need to have a summit. We need to talk about. But let's talk a little bit. Let's talk about this, because Russia knows, as an administration, not the United States, as an administration, the Biden administration is weak, and they've been checkmated in the Ukraine. Okay, yeah, we want to sell liquid natural gas to Europe. And Russia wants to keep its pipeline and continue to process and serve the energy needs of the European people themselves. And that's what the real battle's about. And Ukraine is the hotspot in the center point. That port in Crimea is important port. And so look at this article right here from Yahoo. Macron says nations must define red lines with Russia. See, this is where it all formulates. These headlines, these topics. When these leaders make these statements, they make them at a certain time, at a certain reason, for a certain reason, and it all presets and all begins a strategy, a new policy, and this policy seems like it's gonna be war. This man is telling you, Macron, France, who's the French president, is telling nations, hey, let's define these red lines against Russia. Let's get it started. Let's tell them what they can and can't do. And let's hold them accountable when they don't do it. Okay, so let's read a little bit about this. French President Emmanuel Macron says that while dialogue with Russia is essential, clear red lines carrying possible sanctions must also be drawn with Moscow over Ukraine. Now, don't get it twisted. No, Russia is not some kind of peaceful country and all that. I mean, they really do some corrupt things. And according to our country and our news, from poisoning agents and of course, invading land, things of that nature, it has to be stopped if it's true, and it is true. But I mean, there's always some political reasoning behind it. Referring to a recent buildup of Russian troops on the Ukraine border, Macron said in an interview with the American broadcaster CBS, "We will never accept new military operations on Ukraine soil. The West must demonstrate diplomacy and credibility in making that point. And I think after an unacceptable behavior, indeed, we have to sanction," Macron said when asked about a possibility of sanctions. "And I think we have to define clear red lines with Russia. This is the only way to be credible." It's kind of like a swipe. To me, that's kind of a swipe at the Obama administration. They've had red lines in Syria. They've had red lines in Ukraine. And Russia, easily walked over those red lines with ease, and so did the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, and the Obama administration did nothing. So Macron was like, "Hey, we need to make sure we define some clear red lines this time and stick to them." So if you stick to them, that could possibly lead to war. You're doing things based on perception, PR, and that's what the Democrats do. They run on the PR game. They don't really care about actually instituting a policy. They don't run on policy. They run on emotion. Biden is the first president that I've ever seen elected without a policy agenda, a full policy agenda that was laid out, that was discussed in policy debates. They didn't even have debates between the two candidates, and he got elected. Why? Because he ran on emotion. He fed onto your emotion. Whether you emotionally didn't agree with the president that was currently in office, whether we pulled on the heartstrings of immigration with kids in cages, whether we, dug into the racial issues of police shootings, the environment, wages, all these things. I mean, there was no political agenda of solving these issues. Just how you feel about them, and hey, point the finger at the next man. But they're good at doing that, and they're in power now, controlling all levels, all branches of government. And you think about that when you combine that with the power they have they have all of Hollywood, all late night, all of media, mainstream, all of social media, all the big tech companies. They have a lot of powerful people behind them, and they are great at playing the political game, way better than who the Republicans have. John Berner selling a book? Who they have? I mean, there's some good publications out like the Federalist, and there's some good places where you can find some good information that's moderate in this reporting, or even killed in this reporting. But who do the Republicans have that are spreading their message? I mean, everyone they have is either being suppressed or they're not influential enough. At least not gonna be influential enough before 2022 and 2024. Only people they have is your populist president, former President Donald Trump. Now, and that may not be enough. And for me, I'm all about protecting our freedoms, protecting our right to vote, protecting our freedom of speech, our freedom to protest, our right to bear arms. They've been assaulted, and you need to combine that with the suppressing of censorship, big tech, where you control what you hear, you can't hear. So it's like that's an uphill battle. And what's it going to take? It's probably going to take something that's just over the top. I mean, it may take like it's going to take a big bump, I don't know what it's going to take. It's going to take something. It's going to take some kind of blunder from the Democrats that's going to just cause everyone to go the other way. Now, I'm hoping it's from what happened in 2020, where we know that, hey, man, we really didn't win this shit. Something happens. Let's have a revote, a redo. So that's what we're hoping what may happen in 2024, where the populist movement may rise back up and really at least change one of the branches of government, maybe Congress. I don't know. Maybe the Senate. I don't know. But you see packing of the courts, attempts of that. You see the attempts to take away your guns at an early start of the year. Nothing's been done from the do-nothing Democrats since they've been in office, but give you a stimulus check. The immigration is run amok. The border is a crisis at the border. We all know that's fact. There's no solution on the horizon for that. But do they want a solution? They don't. They want to continue to pull on your heartstrings while the border is being flooded with likely pro-democratic immigrants. Illegal immigrants. Let me correct that statement. Because the media would twist your words and say that, yeah, you hate all immigrants, that you're racist, that you're this and that. No. I'm following the rules and the laws of this country to make it better. Yes, I want immigration. Yes, I want legal immigration, not illegal. Okay. Let's bring him in right. Let's have a merit-based system. What are you going to provide? What are you going to provide this country if you come in here? What do you offer? And you may offer a lot, but that's what we need to vet. Okay, like if you have a beat up shovel and a brand new shovel in your garage, and your neighbor asks you to borrow a shovel, you probably gonna give him a beat up shovel. You don't want to give him your new shit because you don't want him to drain on it, to mess it up. It's a brand new shovel. I'm gonna give you this beat up shovel. You use this one. That's what countries do. In a sense, not in a sense. Since history, they send over the weakest shovel, if you will. Okay, why can't we say, hey man, nah man, come on man, go back and be a better shovel. Come back later. Yeah, we say bring us your weak, bring us your sick. We said that back in Ellis Island. We said that shit a long ass time ago. This 2022. Bring us your IT specialists. Bring us your engineering guru. Bring us those kind of quality immigrants. Let's have a mixed bag. But there's nothing new under the sun. It's usually the same person that comes out and all the news and they get the microphone in their face and they say, "I'm fleeing my country because of gang violence and my dad smacked me." Like, damn, let anybody. Okay, if that's what happened, can you just at least fill out this application? Why are you coming through the Rio Grande? Why are you jumping? Why you digging under my border wall? Why I gotta build a wall? Because you don't want to follow my rules. I'm just saying, it seems like the shit seems common sense to me. That's what I'm witnessing. So like my page, subscribe. Emos the Witness, the Field Show. What the fuck I look like. Brand new show. Airing live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. Hit the subscribe button. Like my page. Catch me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All that good stuff. Website's coming soon. We're working on it. We're getting there. Summer's heating up. Okay? But man, we gotta ask some questions and push back and say, damn, what's that about? You know? What's that about? But, I just think that, countries know, I mean, everybody knows, like, the essence or, of a leader and know what they're about. And I just think that a lot of countries know that this Biden administration is weak when it comes to foreign policy or meaning what they say or doing what they say they're going to do. This is really about just kind of, protecting the narrative. And they're really good at it. They're really, really good at it. And I think that other countries see that and they're like, all right, we can do what we want to do because we know that if y'all do something, it's going to be a blunder. All the reversals and all the reviews of these policies, you see the winds of war. You just see it. Let me see this next article. This is an example of posturing, from the Biden administration. This is, Alexei Navalny moved to prison hospital after a huge outcry during hunger strike. Now, this guy was poisoned and then poisoned. He's a Russian agent or a Russian critic. He was poisoned in Europe, and then somehow he got back to Russia, and they ended up locking him up, and now he's going through a hunger strike. He's an opposition leader. Let me see. Alexei Navalny, the jailed Russian opposition leader who has been transferred to a prison hospital. Russian prison authorities said on Monday amid growing fears for his life. Excuse me. Several doctors who were able to see his latest blood test, including Mr. Navalny's personal physician, warned at the weekend that the politician was in critical condition because of catastrophically high potassium levels that might lead to heart failure. The doctor showed up at the prison in which Mr. Navalny was being kept Sunday, but were not allowed in. I'm trying to get some details about what the United States was trying to do about this. They were saying pretty much there will be consequences if he dies. And they were asking the press secretary, U.S. Press Secretary Psaki, what kind of sanctions or what kind of things we would do if this gentleman died, if this pro-Russian opposition critic died. And, her reply was, we'll do some things that are seen and unseen. It was her quote, seen and unseen. Kind of like, you'll see what we're going to do. You bet your bottom dollar. We're going to do something. We're going to, you're going to see it, but there's some things you won't see. It's like no one. That's like this. Look, that's like sharp teeth with a muzzle, And personally, I don't want a war. I don't want any kind of conflict. I want peace with Russia. I want peace through strength. I want us to continue to be that dove with the arsenal behind us. Not acting fake and not poking the giant for no particular reason. We've already poked them enough, claiming them to interfere with our elections, and they didn't. No different than any other country, they didn't. But when you're constantly being slammed and slammed in the press, all internationally, and you're and how you trample on U.S.'s sovereignty, in their elections, you're gonna become a natural enemy over time. And then you add this stuff. Yeah, what's going on in Ukraine and how we send warships, but we back off. And then you look at the next article. Not next article, but you look at issues where Russia has expelled 20 Czech officials from their country. They're getting ready for war. They're getting ready for battle. 100,000 troops on the border, military hardware. They just confirmed that we're a paper tiger in a sense. Our words don't mean nothing because this administration does nothing but posture. China sees that. They're making economic moves to thwart us economically because they know that they checkmate us. We've been checkmated. We checkmate ourselves. We shoot ourselves in the foot. We slow ourselves down. Is it because we're too powerful, or is it all just a game? Maybe it's all just a game. But for me, you guys, it's a entertaining, it's a fun game. I'm telling you, get your popcorn ready. To me, it's politics and all these casting characters. They all, it's good versus evil. At the end of the day, it's good versus evil. What side are you on? Can you identify which is evil, which is good? At Emotional Winners, we aim to do that. We aim to expose politicians, leaders in all sectors of society, hold them accountable, see where they stand, see if it's all just a game to them or to us, how important the issue is, so we can be better informed and we can push back. We get them clean up the society, having a better leadership, better leaders. Right now our leaderships right now is just a lot to, they're just old and they just don't care. I came across this article right here. Minnesota National Guard patrol injured in a drive-by shooting hours after Maxine Waters told protesters to make sure they know we mean business. That's the same Maxine Waters that told you to, follow politicians to their homes, to where they eat at, and harass them. Causing conflict, causing potential harm to your leaders. Do we need that kind of leadership in Congress? This lady's been in Congress for like damn near 100 years. She's like a motherfucking California. She's like a motherfucking California raisin. She didn't start off that way. That's how long she's been in office, man. She. You know what a California raisin is, Malik? You ever seen the commercials back then?
No clue.
Them 4 or 5 little roaches looking like, they're not roach, but like roach raisins. Roach raisins. Is that a roach mixed with a raisin? Man, that's got to be an ugly combination. But anyway, the California raisins, man, they had a,
I pulled it up.
They saw raisins, man. They a four trio group.
4 trio group.
I said that, no, 4 trio group. If you're introducing them, they like, man, don't you ever go on tour with us again? What's a quartet, right?
I don't. Yeah, that sounds right.
A quartet of raisins. I don't see no Wikipedia, but they're about a quart of raisins. They're probably around the mid-90s. Hot commercial. I guess they're promoting raisins. Damn, they weren't promoting anything particular. They're just promoting California raisins. Just kind of get that industry up, I guess. Kind of get that export or that product out to the market. But she looks like a California raisin in essence that I'm saying she's shriveled up in the face because she's been in Congress so long. We watched her age over time. And now with her old self, she continues. Like I told you, Democrats don't care, man. 4 years later, she's still like pimping out fear, like pumping out, instigating violence, telling you to go out here and attack people. I mean, I'm guessing on this one. I'm not really guessing, but I mean, I just know from the past. She's always at the forefront of hot button issues. You know what I'm saying? That pull on your emotional heartstrings, and she's right in the center of this. Of course, the Derek Chauvin trial. Of course, let me read this article a little bit. The Minnesota National Guard said a drive-by shooting targeted its members in North Minneapolis earlier this morning. At 4:19 in the morning, shots were fired from a white SUV at Minnesota National Guard, who were providing neighborhood security. Two guard members were injured, with one taken to the hospital with cuts from shattered glass. The shooting happened in North Minneapolis, Minneapolis, about 5 miles from the Brooklyn Center. Several hours earlier, Rep. Maxine Waters held a rally at the Brooklyn Center, and told protesters to get more confrontational in the wake of the Derek Chauvin trial. Her quote was, "We've got to stay on the street, and we got to get more active. We got to get more confrontational. We got to make sure that they know we mean business," she said when asked what protests should do moving forward. That's what she said. Republicans were not happy with what they saw as a provocation. Why is a sitting member of Congress encouraging protesters to get confrontational? Rep. Ken Buck, a Republican from Colorado, wrote on Twitter. Waters has a history of provoking confrontation. In 2018, she called for her supporters to create crowds when they see Trump officials and tell them they're not welcome in public. Here's her quote. Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd, Waters said, and you push back on them and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere. Waters said she plans to stay in Minnesota until closing arguments in the Chauvin trial. Well, those quotes, that's you talking about sparking a potential riot. She's been doing it for so long. And this is another example of it. But we have a Trump tweet that says peaceful protest in the tweet. And this man is responsible for the worst riot in history. Now, what's the difference between that riot we saw in Washington, in the halls of Congress, and what we witnessed on the streets of these liberal cities, and cities like Brooklyn Center, where we have Maxine Waters stoking violence? We don't, and the media doesn't say anything about it. No one touches it. No one disbands her. And she should have been out of office. We don't need this kind of leadership. It's a direct hypocrisy we're looking at right here. And how it's reported and how it's addressed is way different than what you see if it's a Republican doing this. Let a Republican say some shit like that. Let anybody who's not a Democrat say something like that. If the media does not like you, they would target you and you will be shut down. You'll be shamed. You'll be censored. Why isn't she? Why does this get a pass? Like I said, once the emotional part is drained or maxed out to a T, everybody goes back to their couches. Everybody goes back to their kitchen tables. While these people still remain in power, while they still remain in office, pushing your heartstrings, pushing your emotional buttons, whether it be through racism, whether it be through climate change, whether it be the economy, whether it be kids in cages that they started, that they did in the Obama administration, blamed on Trump. Where is it all coming from? It's not coming from an area of support for you. It's for their own cause, their own agenda. We gotta push back, y'all. We gotta call out Maxine Waters. Remember, all you people in California, I know she's powerful, but hey, when it's time to run in 2022, 2024, think about these kind of things. And what is it? Does it do the country good overall? And you want to see continuance of that kind of leadership? Then I guess you got a decision maker when you go into that poll booth. Not only that, we got to protect the right to vote, the whole integrity part of it, the election laws. That's like the first battle. Then you know your vote is solid enough to actually go vote against something like that, a leader like that. But like I said, Republicans are in trouble, man. That's another factor. You think about all the change in election laws over the past year. These cats may not stand a chance. They may have already been checkmated. But either way we go, we must continue to fight. And I'm Emos the Witness, and I'm here to join the fight and join the cause and speak my voice and lend my brand of politics. But I want us to be witnesses, you guys. I'm Emos the Witness. So let's witness this world together. And let's push back. And let's grow. And let's bring about fresh new leadership and changing some of these policies that this over time are gonna hurt us in the future. Okay? So on Wednesday, we're gonna come back, and like I said, we're gonna dig into some of these investigations. I want to give you guys an update on the Durham investigation, and I want to talk. I really want to dig into Maxine Waters based on this article alone on Wednesday. But I want to kind of make sure I profile these politicians in an order that makes sense from a hierarchy perspective. So I did Kamala Harris, I did a George Soros, but I want to go more in depth about these things. So before I tap into Obama and Hillary Clinton, I want to make sure I do my research really, really, really well, because Hillary Clinton is almost like the Darth Vader of it all. You see what I'm saying? She's the one that's really controlling a lot of the strings. She pretty much owns the Democratic Party financially. She has a lot of cohorts, a lot of people working behind her, man, and Obama as well. They're behind the scenes doing a lot of things. And so is Trump. We got to be fair about it. And we're going to highlight all these politicians on Wednesdays of the show. And on Friday, of course, we're going to get into a freestyle, and we're going to talk about all kind of news. But this is the beginning of the week, y'all. We got a lot to cover, a lot coming down the pipeline, a lot of things going on. It's only going to heat up with the immigration issue. It's only going to heat up with Russia. As the summer goes, the economy is going to either grow or it's going to crash. I'm under the opinion that I think, like I said, my opinion about the economy, and we'll always keep track of what's going on, as I feel like it's also a paper tiger. I feel like, a lot of these jobs are seasonal. I just think something else is going on, with competition overseas and internationally. And I think that, the economic trade winds are showing that we need to actually grow. We need to create, quality, high-paying jobs. And we still need to come out this pandemic, because the pandemic, even though we're climbing out of it and we're still seeing, we're still battling a lot of things going on with it, we're still in a deficit when it comes to pre-pandemic job growth. The numbers are still millions behind than what we had back in the late parts of 2019. So we got to continue to monitor the economy and make sure that we really study what's going on. And let's see if we see an infrastructure deal. We'll see, what policies come down the pipeline. But right now, we haven't seen much. We've seen a lot of delays and a lot of review. And we see a crisis down on the southern border. And we see a brewing crisis overseas, internationally, in various parts of the world. So we got to watch it, and we got to make sure we address it, because right now the media is going to try to make things seem, all peaches and cream, and it's not. So anybody wants to witness like that, hit that like, subscribe button. I'm here, like I said, live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. We're a brand new show. We're growing. We're trying to get better. There will be mistakes, but we're live, and that's what makes it so great that we're bringing to you fresh. So I want you to hit that likes button on YouTube, subscribe, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Emos the Witness. I want you guys to have a great start of the week, a great week, and I'll see you Wednesday. And I'm out.